When you go to publish your book on Amazon, Amazon's going to ask you to select a couple of categories from this pop-up box. But did you know that after you publish your book, you can not only change your categories, but you can add 10 or more categories for your book as well? And the best part about this is Amazon has made this process extremely simple, especially compared to what it used to be like in the past. Before I get into the process of adding and changing your book categories, as well as some frequently asked questions, if you'd like to learn more about book marketing or self-publishing, be sure to hit the subscribe button, as well as the little bell icon to the right so as to get notified when my next video comes out. And with that, let's begin. All right, so in order to change your categories or add more categories, first you need to go to this link here. You can find that link in the description below, but once you click that, Amazon's either going to ask you to log in, or if you're already logged in, you're going to see this page right here. Next, click up in the top left where it says Amazon book page, and then finally click Update Amazon Categories, and you'll see this box that you're going to fill in. Now, the really awesome thing about this box is that it actually has a template and it tells you exactly what you need to do. First, you need to enter in the ASIN number or ISBN number of the book that you want to change the categories for. Then you need to tell it which market it is, like US, UK, German, etc. Finally, you need to list the categories that you want added, as well as list the categories that you want removed. Now, this is only if, say, you find that you're in a category that you don't want to be a part of. Otherwise, you can just leave the removal blank. One important thing to note is that when adding categories, it's highly recommended that you add a category string like this. If you're using Publisher Rocket, this is simple. You can just copy and paste it. If you're not, on the other hand, you need to replicate it by looking at what we call the category chain and enter that in. The reason this is important is that if you don't do this, there's a very good chance that Amazon may put you in the wrong category. Say, for example, you add something like sci-fi military. Well, sci-fi military could be in science fiction and fantasy, it could be in YA, it could be in literary fiction, and there are a couple of other main categories that sci-fi military is a part of. But by putting that category chain, it tells Amazon exactly where to put it, and there's no chance that they may mess it up and put you in the wrong thing. So again, I highly recommend that you put a category chain here and not just a label of some kind of category. All right, so once you have all that entered in, be sure to hit the send message button on the bottom left, and there you have it. You should get an answer from Amazon within 24 hours stating that they've accepted your submission and that should be live in the next 24 to 48 hours. All right, guys, so we just covered the process by which that you can change your categories as well as add up to 10 plus categories or more. Now let's talk about some important information about categories and some of the frequently asked questions that I get. One of the frequently asked questions that I get is, what if you get a rejection? Now, one of the main reasons why somebody gets rejected is not because they can't add or change their categories. Instead, what happens, and you might not believe this, but believe me, this really happens, is your rejection is just because you got the wrong Amazon human. I don't know what they do in training in Amazon, but sometimes there's somebody who's working this process and just is like, we don't do that, and they just reject it outright. If you get one of these, I highly recommend just turning around, going straight back to this link, and resubmitting the same information. You'll probably find that the next time you submit it, they say, good to go. I have found that as the years have gone by, they actually get better at this, and there's a less and less likely chance that you're going to get one of these. Now, there is one reason why a lot of books do get rejected, and this is very important. If you are trying to put your book in a children's category or a young adult category, Amazon's very protective of kids. They don't want adult books showing up in kid choices. In order to make sure that your children's books can be put in a children's category, you need to make sure that you've selected the appropriate age for the book, and that's inside your Kindle Direct Publishing dashboard. So when you go to publish your book, you need to select the right age. Otherwise, if you don't have an age there, Amazon's just not going to accept your category request. Another question that I get a lot too is, why do you say 10 plus categories? And does this mean 10 ebook categories and 10 book categories? The answer is 10 plus categories because there is no exact limit. Amazon doesn't say that there's like a cutoff at 20. However, though, what I've found is that when you start requesting more than 10 categories, your chances of rejection actually do increase. So I always tell people 10 is probably the sweet spot. So go ahead and do your research and make sure to find the right categories, but just understand when you go beyond that, you're getting closer and closer to a rejection. So just think of that 10 as the sweet spot. Another question I get a lot too is, what about international markets? And yes, as you saw on the form, you can request to change or add categories for your book in each individual market. If you do this though, you're going to have to submit one form per market, okay? So should you go through and do the research and find all these categories in each market? I don't think so. If you wrote an English book, I definitely recommend that you add more categories for the US market and the UK market and other English speaking markets as well. I think that's a great use of time. But should you do that for the Japanese or all the other ones? No, I don't think that's worth it. If you do own Publisher Rocket, awesome feature for you is that you can always change the market in the top right corner, and then you can go ahead and easily see all of those categories just like you do in the US, and you can find some amazing ones, and you can make sure that you're sticking at the #1 bestseller for the UK or the others that are out there. So be sure to use that if you do have Rocket. And finally, one of the last questions I get too is, hey, I selected 10, but when I go to my book sales page, I check and there's only 3 showing. Yes, Amazon, for some strange reason, will only show 3 categories no matter how many you have. And which 3? We don't know why they choose which 3, and they change from time to time. There's no way to tell them, please show me for just these. Just understand that you do have your book, if you've requested, they are in the categories that you requested. Now, there are a couple of processes by which you can check these, and I'm going to be doing a video very soon, and if I have done it when you're watching this, you'll find a link in below where you can watch that video where I'll talk about how you can verify the categories your book or somebody else's book is a part of. All right, guys, so in this video, we covered how to add more categories, how to change your categories, and some of the frequently asked questions with categories. So with that, you should be good to go. Go ahead and do some research, find the right categories for your book, take action, and get your book a part of those. And with that, I'm Dave Chesson of Kindlepreneur, signing off. Cheers.